It might be the first time you are being asked to turn on your phone during a conference presentation. This time we would encourage you actually to use it. We would love for you to take a look at our project Mayu at mayustorybook.live. You can also use the QR code here if you prefer. This is what we are going to talk about. So I give you just a few more seconds, mayustorybook.live. Okay? I just don't want to go too fast. Someone is still using the QR code. Okay, so I'm going to switch.
So welcome, Anne-Marie. I'm actually very excited. We've been working for 2 years now remotely, and she arrived specifically for this conference and to meet me. Anne-Marie is a data visualization developer and the co-author of D3JS in Action. It's already coming soon, new edition.
Yeah. And here's Inbal, an awarded data viz designer and partnership director at Viz for Social Good.
And the word about collaboration, we always, okay. This is how we imagine actually collaboration between people, but actually in reality it takes many shapes and many forms. Still, embrace it. If you find the right partner, go ahead. And how did we get here? Viz for Social Good connects non-profit like Vera Aqua Vera Vita with data viz volunteers like us. And it's order to help them actually understand their data and to make beautiful visualization or even insightful. So we joined the Viz for Social Good challenge to support VAVV. It's the shortcut of Vera Aqua Vera Vita. And in telling the story of 7 communities in Peru and how they actually empower them to generate clean water and sanitation solution. I take this opportunity and to call for partnerships with you and your companies. I know there are some amazing companies here in the audience. To support Viz for Social Good, we really need to be circled.
So obviously we started with a data set. It was a survey conducted by VAVV with this community in Peru about their water situation and about the relationship between VAVV and this community. But the first thing that struck us was that the data was really scarce, although once I started to dig into it, I started to see a little bit of a story emerge. As our story took shape, we focused on 2 aspects: the point we wanted to make and the people to whom that we wanted to address with this project. We picked children, hoping to stimulate their empathy and their understanding of the gravity of the global water crisis. And Inbal had the great idea to work with a coloring book style. The data was there, but the story was still thin, something was not working out, so we needed more and actually contacted directly VAVV to obtain more data and more information. That was the right move, and that's really what propelled the project. That's the great thing about working with nonprofit and supporting community like Viz for Social Good. You get a field team that can provide you with more background information.
So here's the initial design we submitted for the challenge. It was done by Miro, completely static. Of course, it's a fast forward for this design. Let's zoom a bit. And I want to credit the talented Ukraine-based illustrator who worked with us, Anastasia Kemleveska. And she created Mayu face. Let's zoom in further and see the 7 communities. It's actually the zoom in on the 7 communities, and each one has his own unique data footprint. And let's zoom even further. So, just like a Lego, I created an interlocking digital blocks, and I turned our data into visual objects. Started with one house. It looks like a simple data representation. I think we should, yeah, isn't it? But actually, there is a complexity of different ratios between the homeowners and the population of the communities. Keep in mind also that the community is a very living organism and it's changing. An absolute representation is almost impossible. And by adding rural surrounding features plus drawing implied contours of houses, we can feel this is a living community. What you see at the end is actually the biggest community, and what you see on the middle here, it's actually the smallest one. And here's our school brick and the live scene with clocks, showing how much time or how many hours the kids lost because of contaminated water and sickness. The more they lose, the more the clock cries, actually. We also have a remote schools. You can see the bike over there and the long ride. And we also have 2 schools in 1 community. And this is our distance block, presenting the walking distance for the water resource. It was quite a challenge for me to visualize the distance, the different distance. And you see there is 1%, 1.1 mile and compared to 1 mile. It's only a small real estate, and you would see next that we even started with mobile first. We have different water resources, and also pollutant representation that you can see there. And for that, we added a dictionary of terms in order that kids to understand all this complicated terminology. And to see VAVV solutions, you're invited to go online on the project and support it. We would love that.
Combining the data from the library of visuals that Inbal just presented you, she created a composition of 6 illustrations for each of the 7 communities, telling their stories. She highlighted the minimal and delicate illustrations with intricate colorings that mimics kids' watercolor. The goal here was to encourage kids to make illustration on their own and integrate the stories of each of these communities. On my end, I developed a library of web-based visualization using JSAP. Some of these animations being shared between the communities, some being unique to a specific community. In addition to telling the community's stories to children, we wanted VAVV to be able to communicate how far they were in their effort to raise funds to bring water solutions to these communities. So we did that by adding the animations I mentioned and the coloring in a step-by-step way that reflects how far along they are in their fundraising effort, going from 0% with black and white static illustration to 100%, which are the most animated. We also share this information with the banner, which is held by the airplane flowing above and below each of the community strips, which holds a link for people to donate. And VAVV is able to update in real time this information from a simple CSV file, which is hosted on the repository of the project.
Okay, so another listed challenge was to go mobile, and I think it's actually overlooked with data visualization designers and often even developers or clients. And we are proud to say that we are fully responsive in this project.
Another thing that we wanted for this project is to allow VAVV to reach their audience, which are English speakers, but also Spanish speakers. Of course, there's a traditional language switcher on the project, which allow users to select their language of preference, but we also created a set of URL parameters for VAVV to share the right project to the right people and pre-select the language in advance, which is gonna change not only the body of the text, but also the language carried within the maps and inside the illustrations. We went a step further here with the personalization, allowing VAVV to pre-select, again with the URL parameter, the first community which is presented to the user in order maybe to stimulate when they have a need for a community to have more funding.
And there is no coloring experience without actually the color book. So children are invited to download and print the color for each community. And this is the wonderful work of Albert, which is Anne-Marie's son. We want to thank specific Vera Aqua Vera Vita and ISVIS for Social Good for this amazing opportunity. It's great to be a part of their fundraising, and we hope to make them even rich. Okay.
So the takeaways from this project, the first one, seek out more data. Maybe don't settle with what's offered to you at first. And focus mainly on what's relevant to your story. You don't have to use all the data available.
Put yourself in your audience shoes, which is the children this time, and collaborate. It's really great, and I encourage you all, join the Data for Good movement. You can find it everywhere. We want to thank you. We are the Ami-Duet. We visualize and...
and we develop empathy data stories.
Thank you so much.
Questions? Questions? Okay. So we'll go to my question. Can you just say how did each one of you find out about this initiative and found each other? Please speak to the mic. Yes. Thanks.
I think I was the first that joined the ISVIS for Social Good. By the way, it's on the Slack community. It's a huge community, and I'm happy to be now. After this project, I was invited to be part of them, and this is how I met to be partnership director. And I actually met Anne-Marie in another conference without relation to this one, and I think it was Not on Our Watch project. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she contacted me after a project that I did about political violence against women, and she said, "Who is going to develop it?" And I said, "I don't know." She said, "I want to do it." And we just started. We started with a small project for the Data Visualization Society, actually, and then we decided to go to this challenge together.
Great, thank you.